minute. I've been moved to Omaha.
An inmate at the Douglas County Jail. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, hang up or press 1. This call is from a corrections facility and is subject to monitoring, recording, and the location of your phone will be obtained. For more information about our privacy policy, please visit www.connectnetwork.com. After the beep, press 5 to accept this call. This call is from a corrections facility and is subject to monitoring, recording, and the location of your phone will be obtained. Stay on the line to accept this call. Thank you for using GTL.
I don't consent to recording my calls.
Hey, Mike, that was Sue, and she seems really, what's the word, energized to get me this fax. I think it's 25 pages or so, and she wants me to get it to you and Pat and The Hague. So I told her, all the businesses are shut down around here, but I did find a service online. It's called HelloFax. They gave me a Canadian fax. I could not get British Columbia where she is, but I got Alberta. So I do have a fax number for her to use. She's going to call me back in a couple of hours. She seems to be under the impression that once I get it, I'll be able to fax it to you at your jail, but I think I'll probably end up having to print it off and mail it to you. I don't think I'll be able to fax it to you.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So, I don't think your jail... Yeah.
Unless you can scan it and email it to Mr. True, and he can print it and mail it, which will get it to me quicker.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't know what his availability is to come, to come to the prison, and so,
Well, he wouldn't bring it here. He wouldn't bring it to the jail. He'd have to mail it to me. They're not going to let him give me anything.
Oh, I see.
Deliver. But if he got it tonight and put it in the mail tomorrow, I would get it Friday.
Yeah.
If you put it in the mail tomorrow, I'll get it next Wednesday.
Well, in situations like that, all I can do is ask. But because when it involves other people, I can't speak for them.
Right.
Yeah. But I can ask.
That's right. And if he's not available, he's not available. And I understand. I was just thinking if he was available and it was logistically a sound thing to do.
Yeah, I can send him a text as soon as we get off the phone and say, hey, I'm going to be getting a fax probably tonight from Sue, and if that happens, I'll mail it to you, and then you could print it out and mail it to Mike. But otherwise, it'll go in the mail tomorrow from me if I get it tonight.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. Anything else? Any specifics from her?
She seems really in a good mood. That all her, I guess what we call charges, Canada calls breaches. She said 3 of 3 breaches were dropped. All she has is her main charges. Her trial is on April the 23rd. I think she's going to be representing herself pro se. She sounds a very articulate, intelligent woman, so I expect her to blow the jury away. I think she's looking really good. I mean, I expect her to beat her main charges. I mean, what was the 2 charges? Something about kidnapping a child and withholding the necessities of life. I mean, that's ridiculous in my opinion. So,
yeah.
So we'll see.
It is. What she was doing was protecting a child from a predator.
Yeah.
And she was reporting the crimes to the RCMP and then to the Indian Nation that the child was from. She was doing everything she was supposed to do by the book, and at the end of the day, the system up there wants to put it right back with that corrupted foster family that's denying her, the ability to be a child, to learn about Christ and not be fooled with.
Right.
But what I was going to say about Jonathan earlier is that his mom's been fighting for him since he was born because the hospital injured him when he was born, and so he's had to fight, to struggle just to survive as a child, and he knows how brutal they are towards his mom, and because he's not that old, and he realizes that his dad is, I don't know if his dad survived or the health of his dad, but once that she's all he's got.
Yeah. Well, it's, you know, it's so often, Mike, I see political prisoners and their families. The political prisoners become radioactive, and the families have established lives, and they don't want anything to do with it. And I don't want to say they abandon them, but they just have other priorities, like taking care of the children. They have loved ones, and so you see the family kind of like keep their distance. And I'm not bad-mouthing that, because there's a lot of times there's legitimate reasons for them to do that. But to see a son come out and put his face in front of the camera and say, "I love my mom and I support my mom," it's like, wow, it really was really touching. And I just really encourage you.
Well, that's what everybody should do, period, as a minimum. And if more people would step forward and say, "Hey, my family's being framed, they're innocent," and expose it. This lawyer today, he brought me and didn't show it to me, or didn't let me read it, but he just kind of held it up and said, "Well, I've got on the internet, and I see you got some information on post and email with this Sharon Rondo." And I said, "Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that are upset what's going on." He said, "Yeah, but there's some people that don't like you." I said, "Oh, you found some stuff from Tipton County, no doubt." He didn't show it to me, but he didn't say anything about Lone Star 1776 or my website, but I'd asked him to go to my website and review it.
Well, a lot of times these lawyers, you know, they're going to give you advice never to call me. No, that's fine. I mean, you know, they want you to be quiet and not say anything because they think you're going to constantly dig a deeper hole and you're going to upset the prosecution. But I admire your attitude and your warrior spirit. I mean, you're not guilty. You're innocent, and you want to, you know, proclaim your innocence and your wife's innocence from the mountaintops. And you know, so, but if there's a legal reason not to talk about certain legal aspects of your case because you don't want to give away to the prosecution your game plan, I can understand.
And I've done. There's a couple of times I've done that where I've touched on something that I've backed away from it or I've reworded it, and people are saying, "Why would he do that?" And it's because of a strategy where I've got certain evidence and certain information that I know that I can verify, that I can prove, and if they go down a certain trail, I'm ready for them.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
But at the end of the day, you know, I think that as a political prisoner, if you're quiet, they can eliminate you and nobody knows about you. And after the fact, as long as people are looking at you, you're safer.
Yeah.
It's when they stop looking at you that your life is in danger. And everybody I know that's involved in this truth movement says the same thing. The people that go quiet usually disappear. You never hear from them, and they're because they're dead somewhere.
The Bundys are a perfect example of people coming together and a success story.
Perfect example. Perfect example. You shine the light, and the rats run.
Amen.
God bless you. Also, if you get a chance to talk to Pat real quick, ask her if she can check the water and electric meter bills and see if they've gone up. If they have, that means somebody's there using electricity and water.
I'll tell her. I'll ask her.
All righty.
Okay, God bless you, Mike. Our prayers are with you, brother. All right.
All right. We'll talk to you again.
Okay, Mike. Our prayers are with you, and I never know when they're going to cut us off. I never know when they're going to cut us off, so we want to use every second. You know, talking to these prisoners in these 15-minute increments is very stressful and it's very challenging, and it's like, you know, it kind of goes over to your regular life. You meet a guy on the street and you're like, you know, it's like, why are you talking so fast? Like, well, I was used to talking to somebody and I have to get everything in within 15 minutes. Anyway, please keep Mike and Pat and Sue in your prayers. Thank you for your time.